Coming to you live from the JRE Tobacco Aladino Mobile Studios, it's the Cigar Pulpit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm the Bishop of the Burn, Nick, and today, well, we're going to get a little dreamy. I had a really weird dream last night, and it's kind of been just kind of like, I don't know, it's haunting isn't the word, because it's not like it was like a just huge nightmare or anything like that, but it was a weird dream, and it's one that I just can't quite get out of my head. And that got me thinking about other, and I've had, other weird dreams. I'm maybe only gonna, I can only really, I don't know. I do take notes on weird dreams when I wake up from them. But quite honestly, most of them, they're just stupid. And it's just one of those weird things. But I've got one other one I'm going to talk about. But, we're going to talk about dreams and sleep schedules. 'Cause holy crap, my kid messed mine up bad this weekend. But anyway, so that, we're going to do a little of that. And I promise, there is a cigar tie. You're going to think I'm crazy. But there is actually, believe it or not, a tie to cigars in this dream. So, we're going to go from there. But first, we're going to fire up a cigar. And today, I'm smoking something that just arrived today via the USPS. They were relatively prompt in delivering this to me this time. So, kudos to the USPS for doing that. Anyway, today we're going to be smoking the Night and Day. It was the New England Cigar Expo exclusive cigar from this year. This 6x54 Toro showcases a striking double wrapper design, half Nicaraguan Maduro and half Ecuadorian Habano, delivering two distinct yet harmonious smoking profiles. Beneath the wrapper lies a Nicaraguan binder with premium Dominican and Nicaraguan filler, offering rich notes of dark chocolate, leather, oak, and earthy spice for a bold and evolving experience. These are only available by the box at twoguyscigars.com. You can get a box of 20, and it is a nice-looking little box here. Let's see if I can snake it through the cords and wires. It's a really nice, kind of box, and, with the flip top and the cigars in there. But it's got a little ribbon thing, and when it arrived, it was tied through here, and it was tied shut. It was like a little package. It was very nice, very, very, very pleasant. Anyway, you can get it by the box of 20 for $109.99. But they have a deal where if you buy 2 boxes, the price becomes $200 flat. So at that point, it's $200 for 40 cigars, bringing the price of each cigar down to only $5. So, come on, let's be real. This is a steal. By any other name, this is a steal. So, head on over to twoguyscigars.com and, go ahead and look into it. I mean, come on. I haven't smoked one yet. This is my first experience. I'm coming in blind, so I'm going to assume come on, it's a $5 cigar. And trust me, guys, I'm putting together the battle of the budgets. Let's be real. Finding a good $5 cigar these days, it's impossible. It's straight up impossible. It's been extraordinarily difficult finding cigars that meet my criteria for the battle of the budgets. And I'll get into that in a little bit. But anyway, it's time to cut and light the cigar, and the official cutting is brought to you by, of all places, twoguyscigars.com. That's the number 2, guyscigars.com. Two Guys have been around for 40 years, and they are the trusted name in the cigar industry. Everybody knows Two Guys, but if you don't, please give them a try. You won't be sorry. Family owned and operated, twoguyscigars.com does the very best to provide a great selection, fair prices, and excellent customer service. So head on over to twoguyscigars.com for your next cigar purchase. Pick up some of these Night and Day. And tell them that the Cigar Pulpit sent you. That's the number 2, guyscigars.com. And with that, it's time to go ahead and cut the cigar. And I'll say this, sometimes they throw in little goodies. Now, I don't know, maybe it was just me. I would hope it would be for everybody. But when I bought the two boxes of these, it came with my show pack for this month and everything. But I got a little squishy night guy from the New England Cigar Expo. So, I got a little desk buddy. So, I got a little knight. He's gonna watch over my tools and various ashtrays and things on my desk here, so that all of my cigar stuff is watched and safe. So give that a clip there. It's got a little pigtail in the end. I was gonna probably I've been using this little handy dandy Villiger perfect cutter that I got at Pulp Fest lately, and it's been nice. I keep one of these in the car, and it's good. But I've been using that at the desk just because, it works well. It cuts deep enough, and, it just gets a little bit off. But I didn't want to do that with that one because it had the little pigtail. But anyway, well, while I light this guy, let's go ahead and listen to the greatest commercial that you've ever heard.
Some say cigars are all the same. It's just not true. It's you I have to blame.
Well, I don't know, 'cause what I know, there is a cigar called Aladino Corojo.
Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. They say authentic, so we're not confused, while the others say it's a word that's just abused.
I guess that's so. They can't compete. At least I'm sure Aladino can't be beat.
Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Cigars uses authentic Corojo tobacco from JRE Tobacco. This is the greatest commercial you ever heard.
Yeah.
Very light off of the light. Like, this cigar starts off nice and mild and smooth. It's very good. Super easy retrohale. Nice straight burn line. I will say I didn't notice until I started lighting it. It has a closed foot, so, you kind of got to watch for a little particulate to come flying off when you're lighting it. It does have a closed foot, so, just be cautious when lighting the cigar. Anyway, so, night and day, I figured, you know what? Well, I was going to record this during the day, and now it's night, so I guess it's just going to be night and night for tonight. But last night, I am sleeping. And, well, I should say this morning, my alarm went off. And I don't know about you guys. I have some incredibly vivid dreams that take place in between hitting the snooze button. That 9 minutes makes my brain just go nuts. And I'd say 99% of the time, I wake up, I've registered that I've just had a very crazy mental experience. However, I can't remember any of the details. But for whatever reason, this morning, I hit snooze. I had a hell of a dream. And I woke up, and, that was that. I was awake, and I didn't even need to take, most of the time I take notes to remember the dream. This one is so clear and vivid in my mind, it feels like I lived it. It feels like it happened. And so I texted a couple people, the detail of my dream. And, we've been having some fun at my mental expense today. But nonetheless, I had a hell of a dream last night. I'm going to tell you about it. So this dream starts off where I'm in school. I'm in college. I'm an adult. I'm not like a child in school. I am a adult. Now I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily a 43-year-old man, but I am an adult, and I'm in college. And I'm in a classroom. I'm doing something. I can't tell you what. I'm doing some work, and I'm quickly doing it because my next class is going to start like any minute. But it's in a room across the hall. And so my mind is saying, dude, you're fine. You just have to get across the hall right before the class starts. So I'm there, and I'm doing whatever I'm doing. I'm watching the clock, realizing my next class is going to start. My next class is it's a math class. And for those of you who don't know, when I was in school, I was good at math. I don't like math. My skills in math are incredibly rusty now. I mean, obviously arithmetic and, basic math, math for life, I can do. But you tell me to do advanced, calculus and this, that, I'm not doing it. It's just not my thing. But I was good in math in high school. Part of the reason I became a journalist is I didn't really need to take a lot of math classes in college. It was just one of those things. Believe it or not, here's a little Nick Miller tidbit for you. When I first started in college, I originally was going with the intention of learning. This is gonna date me a little bit, okay? This is gonna kind of date me a little bit. Website design. Now, granted, any schmuck with WordPress can get the WordPress app can get a website design these days. But back then, 25 years ago, that was an actual career path. Was learning the various codes and things like that you needed for website design. And so I was going to do that. I'm noticing I'm going to have to puff on this thing. So for those of you who are listening to this, I apologize. There's going to be some gaps because I am going to have to work to keep the night and day lit. Because if I start talking too much, this thing's going to go out. Anyway, but I didn't go into website design. And there are days that I think to myself, especially when I'm, working on my household budget and looking at the amount of money coming in and the amount of money going out, I'm sitting there thinking, why didn't I get into fucking computers? Why didn't I do that? Why did I not get into computers? But I didn't. I pursued journalism, and here we are. I own a newspaper, for God's sakes. But anyway, part of the reason I didn't get into computers was the course load involved a lot of advanced math. And I didn't have it in me. I was done. I had peaked on that front. I could do it. I was good at it. I did well. I got good grades in math in high school. But I wasn't interested in it, and thus my drive wasn't there. And to be honest, if I were to try and continue on past the level at which I graduated high school, I would have struggled because I just didn't have the drive in me. I can write. I don't mind writing. I like writing. And so, it is what it is. But anyway, so I got my degree in journalism. So going back to my dream, I'm in college. It's a class across the hall that's going to be starting, and it's a math class. And I'm doing this work in the lab, in this room. And I'm hearing through the door of the room that I'm in, from across the hall, in the math room, where I should be, I'm hearing a friend of mine yelling for me. And, I can't take this right now. And so, that was my reporter calling me. I'm not entirely sure what she wants, but she's going to have to wait because she decided to call during this. Anyway, I'm hearing this friend of mine yelling for me. And I can tell you who it was. It was a guy named Jason Downen. And Jason Downen was the one guy who came to the same high school that I went to from the junior high school that we both went to. He and I both ended up at the parochial high school in the area, whereas everybody else went to the public high school. And so it's this one guy that I haven't thought about in 25 years. When I last saw him at high school graduation, there he is, and he's yelling for me. He's like, "Get over here." And so I get up, and I go over there. I'm like, "Dude, I got a few minutes." He goes, No. You don't understand. So the professor uploaded this worksheet to the class portal, and we had to have it done before class starts. And it was like a test as to who was checking the class portal. And I'm like, it's the first freaking day. And he's like, doesn't matter. Teacher's looking to get this done. So I have this worksheet in front of me, and I'm looking at it. And this is Greek to me. I mean, I don't understand any of these questions at all. This is the most insane math. It's asking questions about this and that and whatever. And I don't understand one damn bit of it. And I'm panicking. And mind you, the teacher, he's in the room. He's talking with a few students, kind of getting things set up and ready, because like in just like a minute and a half, class starts, right? And so Jason, being a good buddy, is like, "Hey, here's my sheet. Copy my answers." So I'm furiously copying his answers onto my page, which is also unlike me. I was not a cheat in school. I did my own work. It's not like I was like I was not a bad student. I was a good student. And so, but I'm furiously copying these answers down. And as I'm doing it, as I'm just finishing, I can feel this presence kind of in this back corner, over my back left. And I can tell it's the professor, but I hear him talking to somebody. And he's, kind of getting himself in position. And so I'm hoping that he's talking to somebody and not paying attention to me right as I'm finishing. And I finish. And he then begins the class. Introduces himself, just kind of says who he is, just gives a name. And then proceeds to explain that he uploaded this worksheet to the class portal, and that, we were all expected to do it, and he wants to go around and see how it went, and proceeds to come straight to me and says, "Mr. Miller, can I see your form?" So he kind of scooches it off to the side, keeps it on the desk in front of me, but scooches it in just a way, just a little bit of an angle, so that he can look at it. And he proceeds to start looking at it, and is asking me questions like, "How did you arrive to this answer? Explain your methodology for this question." And I'm clueless. I mean, I'm just sitting there stammering, and I am utterly I'm speechless. I'm clueless. I'm caught. I am straight up dead to rights caught. And he just proceeds to start like just needling me, just making me feel like just such a douchebag. And then the alarm goes off and I wake up. Now, you're all probably thinking like, well, that's I don't know what to make of that. It's an education dream. Like maybe you've got some sort of thing about going back to school. I don't know what would that indicate? Maybe you have a math phobia. What is that thing? And this is where it gets weird. This is the part right here where it gets weird. Is the teacher, the professor, the guy making fun of me, the guy making me feel like a total douchebag, the guy that is just ripping into me for not knowing this advanced math. Oh my God, there's a moth. Is Carlito Fuente. Not even joking. Carlito freaking Fuente is with that, accent of his, just tearing me a new asshole in front of the entire class. And I have nothing to say. This moth is pissing me off. It's just kind of hanging out. And remember when I said that he was talking with another student while I was scrambling to write down all of the answers on this thing? He was telling that other, oh God, that's America. Moth decided to go that way. He was telling the other student that he was telling the other student about, oh yeah, Two Guys is great. The expo was great. I had a great time. I'll tell you all about it, after class. And so he's talking about the Two Guys New England Cigar Expo that he was just at, 2 weeks ago? And everything, as he's setting up the stool that he's positioning by my desk to rip into me and call me stupid. And it was just so weird. And it's just been blowing my mind. Now, I don't know what this means. There's been some speculation about a few things. One person that I spoke to about this stream today speculated that perhaps I have Paul to thank because, he called in and asked that question on the last episode about, cigar people that I haven't had on the show. And that maybe perhaps that triggered Carlito in my mind. It's not that I wouldn't have Carlito on the show. I would be perfectly happy to sit and talk with Carlito. But as I've explained, I'm not the biggest Fuente smoker. And it's because I find their bands and their branding to be pretty confusing. And so, I don't know, aside from, the Don Carlos and the Opus X and, maybe the little guys like the Hemingway short stories and things like that, I don't know what's what. And so, maybe, so that's, to be honest, it's part of it. And also, Carlito, there's levels to this, guys. I mean, there's just some people that they insulate themselves in such a way that it's kind of difficult to reach out and get them to come on the show. There are other manufacturers that I've reached out to and requested time with, and they I don't hear from anybody. And it's fine. I only ask a couple times and then I move on with life, because if they're not interested in talking, I don't need to talk to them either. I mean, let's be real. I'm giving every single guest that comes on here is essentially free advertising, with the exception of those people who have been generous and kind enough to support me in my endeavors. It's a mutual relationship at that point, which is why you hear from, folks from Villiger and, Aladino and Blackbird and Two Guys, multiple times throughout the year. And maybe you only hear from other companies at most once in a year. It's just one of those things that it's a simple relationship. It's a symbiotic relationship, but it's a simple relationship. And so, when I reach out to somebody and inquire, hey, do you want to come on my podcast? What I'm basically saying is I'm giving you an opportunity for free advertising, free promotion on your part. I'm just looking for content. You can come on and you can talk about whatever. And if they are not interested in that, even enough to reach out to me to say, no, I'm not interested in that, if they just ghost, that's fine. I don't need to request it multiple times. And I'm not saying that Carlito did that. To be honest, he is not in that category. He's in the category of somebody that I would definitely sit down and speak with. But I'll be completely honest, I've never reached out and asked about having Carlito on the show because I am duly ignorant about Arturo Fuente. It's just the way it is. And so, I don't have anything against Carlito. And but evidently my subconscious thinks that Carlito thinks I'm stupid. Now, maybe that's because I've put out on the show that I'm confused by his branding. Maybe that was Carlito through my mind. Maybe this is my subconscious telling me, damn it, take some time and figure out Carlito's, branding so that you're not ignorant about Arturo Fuente. Maybe that's what this is. I don't know. All I know is that dream has just proceeded to fuck with me all day long today. And I just keep thinking, Carlito Fuente thinks I'm a dumbass. So that was my dream last night. It got me thinking about other weird dreams that I've had. And some of them are very odd. I've taken notes on a few. Realistically, unfortunately, my notes made sense to me at the time. Looking back at them now, a year, 2 years later, they make significantly less sense. But there's one other dream that I've had in the last, I don't even know how many years, that does proceed to just stick with me. And I have fewer details on this. But it actually is something that did pop to mind late last week. So late last week, I was sending out subscription renewal notices to some of my newspaper subscribers. And I send a letter in the mail basically saying, hey, your year is up, time to renew. And I had about 125 that I had to put together and mail out. And I thought I had stamps, and it turns out I didn't. I had postcard stamps, which did me absolutely no good with, an actual letter and a letter-size envelope. So I went to the post office, and I bought stamps. And I learned, and maybe this is one of those, oh my God, he doesn't know the price of milk, things that they try to play gotcha with politicians on. But I had no freaking earthly idea that a stamp was up to 78 cents. I had no idea. I heard from the lady at the post office that I guess it was 73 cents. And in July, it went up to 78 cents. I'll be honest, I didn't even really realize it was 73 cents. So maybe that just goes to show how out of touch I am that I didn't know that. But no, I didn't realize that stamps were up that high. Now, partly because when I do buy stamps, I tend to buy a lot of them at one time. And I buy the forever ones. And so I just kind of go through them. And so I didn't have, anymore. So I had to go buy more. But it was 78 cents a piece for these stamps. So I spent like $97 on stamps. And I mailed out my renewal notices. And that got me thinking about a dream that I had quite a while ago where I was at a casino. And I'm sitting there and I'm playing, I think I was playing craps. I always play craps. That's my casino game. I go when I go to the casino, if I'm going to play a table game, I play craps. I don't play cards because I'm not as familiar with the card games. And craps, there's enough quote unquote safe betting that I generally do all right. I don't play the middle of the table crap games because, to be honest, the higher odds, better payout, but more risk and that sort of thing. I go for the easy, 2-to-1 odds wins at the craps table. But anyway, that's beside the point. So I'm playing in this dream. I'm playing craps, and I'm doing all right. But then I hit a string of bad luck, and I'm doing poor. And next thing you know, I'm done. I'm out of chips. I'm out of cash. and they're moving on. They're done with me. And I'm not having it. I'm like, absolutely not. I am continuing to play. And they're like, sir, you are done. You are out of cash. And I reach into my coat pocket, and I get out like 10 rolls of postage stamps. And I slap them down on the table. And I proceed to yell at the dealer that those are United States postage stamps. And each one has a specific value backed by the United States postal system. And I want chips equivalent to the total value of those stamps because they are as good as money backed by the United States postal system. Which is bullshit, but whatever. But anyway, they give it to me. They give me the chips. And at that point, I am now playing craps using postage stamps as my currency. And then I woke up. So that's the other. It's way less exciting. But for whatever reason, that came to mind the other day. Buying stamps that, at least in one dream, I was gambling and gambling on postage stamps. So anyway, I don't know. This is kind of one of those, like, I'm throwing this out there. There's really not anything specific to it, but it's what it is, and that's the dream. That's the dream that I had, is that Carlito Fuente was making me feel stupid for not doing my math worksheet prior to the class. And I was embarrassed. So I don't know what to make of that. But anyway, I figure I'd talk about it with you. As for the night and day, I'm smoking it. I'll say that I think if I didn't take time to stop and puff on it, this would go out. I've kept it pretty much going. I think I had to hit it with a little fire maybe once. But so far, it's not bad. It's light. I'll be honest, I'm not getting a ton of individual flavors off of it. It's light. It's smoking well. I mean, my burn line is straight for the most part. It's kind of a bit of a flaky ash, but it's kicking off some smoke. Not a ton, but when you actually puff on it, it does. Draw on it's been good. So I don't really have any objection to it right now. I would say that if the other remaining 39 that I have smoke like this one, this cigar, the Night and Day, is going to give me exactly what I ordered it for, which is a good utility stick. Something for driving the car, something for, when I'm doing some work and I just want something to smoke and I don't want to have to sit and concentrate on it, that kind of thing. I think that's what this cigar is going to be good for, is just kind of a relatively simple, good, easy cigar that I can smoke and enjoy smoking without having to put a lot of deep thought into it. Because again, the first half of it, this Habano half of it, it's pretty smooth. It's pretty mild. It's pretty easy. So we'll see. We'll keep going with it. Anyway, all right. Well, let's go ahead and do this now. It's time for the Villiger Cigars Entertainment Report, brought to you by
Villiger.
Villiger Cigars, one of the leading cigar and cigarello manufacturers in the world, founded in 1888 and still family-owned and operated. Head over to VilligerCigars.com and check the store locator to find a shop near you that carries them. we guarantee that Villiger Cigars will be a wonderful addition to your humidor and cigar rotation. Alrighty. So, Villiger Cigars Entertainment Report. What have I been watching lately? I've been burning through The Sopranos. Obviously, my son was over, so there was a fair amount of Mickey Mouse Club, Storybots, Thomas, that sort of thing. But I will say, I did take the time to burn through the 6 episodes that are out right now of Season 2 of Peacemaker on HBO. For those of you who aren't familiar with it, Peacemaker is kind of a satirical superhero show starring John Cena as Peacemaker, a man who believes in peace so much that he's willing to kill for it. And, there we go. It's a DC Comics superhero thing, and, it's been entertaining. The first season came out, a couple years ago, and this season came out this summer. There's 2 episodes left. They drop on Thursdays. So there's one on Thursday, October 2nd, and then the finale for this season is on October 9th. And there was a really big twist that came in episode 6. One that I didn't see coming. I feel stupid for not seeing. Maybe it says a lot about me. Maybe it says a lot about a lot of people. Because after finding out what the twist was, I went online and holy shit, a lot of people didn't see that coming. So maybe that says something about all of us. And that's, if so, it's kind of it's not a happy thing to notice, but that was done to us. But it was an interesting social experiment that the show did. I'm digging it. It's fun. It's goofy. It's violent. It's comic booky, So I'm digging it. And then obviously The Sopranos. I've been burning through that, and I'm coming up near the end of season 4, which I'm pretty sure. I'm trying to remember when Tony and Carmela started having all of their marital issues, and I feel like it was the end of season 4. So I think we're about to get into the back, the well, not the final stretch. There's 2 more seasons, but still we're getting there. Anyway, that's what I have been watching lately. But this weekend, my Stick's 35 millimeter. Luke will be in town. I know we're going to hit up the drive-in, and they are playing Terrifier 3 and Nightmare on Elm Street. And I think I've talked about this already, but it just bears repeating that I'm not a fan of killer clowns. And so Terrifier is not something I'm particularly looking forward to. But Nightmare on Elm Street I'm cool with. So, it's cheesy 80s fun. So I'm like, all right, fine. We'll go to that. But anyway, that's that. Let's move on and do this now. It's time to fly high with Blackbird Cigars. Blackbird Cigars offers you remarkable quality using the most delicate and finest tobacco to always ensure that you're receiving unsurpassed cigars. Blackbird Cigars strives to give you undoubted repeating flavor for every cigar you smoke and impressive quality so that you can always expect greatness. Check out their website for a full list of stores carrying Blackbird Cigars and give them a test flight. Blackbird Cigars, can't clip our wings. Alrighty, so today in Chicago, Jaquil Jackson was only 8 years old when he asked his parents a simple question after seeing people living on the streets: why can't we help them? As I start this, I feel like I may have done this one already. If I did, sorry. Instead of just donating once, Jaquil came up with an idea called blessing bags. Each bag was filled with basic essentials like soap, socks, deodorant, granola bars, water, and toothpaste. He and his family handed them out personally to people experiencing homelessness around the city. And what started as a small family project grew quickly. Jaquil founded a nonprofit, Project I Am and rallied friends, schools, and community groups to join in. By the time he was 15, he had helped distribute over 60,000 blessing bags across the United States and even internationally. Jaquil shows that even a child's compassion, fueled by action, can make a lasting difference in the lives of thousands of people. So be like Jaquil Jackson and Blackbird Cigars, and don't let anybody clip your wings. Like I said, I feel like maybe I did that one already, which if that's the case, sorry, not sorry, because, God, I feel like I've done a lot of these, inspirational-ish stories, and quite frankly, I'm starting to they're all running together in my mind. So, yeah, and ChatGPT that assists me with coming up with those, I can't tell them, like, hey, give me one you've never given me, because I think it forgets what it gave me, but I don't know. Anyway, all right, let's go ahead and do this now.
Guess what, motherfucker?
It's time for 3 cigars I smoked and enjoyed this week. And this week, I've been diving into some different stuff in the different humidor, So I've had a few that I've enjoyed. Trying to remember now what specifically. I'm trying to think of what I did that one on the last show. So I'm going to start off with one that I found in the back of the humidor that I didn't realize I was sitting on, and it smoked like an absolute dream. It was so wonderful. Burn line was straight. Construction was great. It was. You guys know what I'm talking about. When you have a cigar that just burns perfectly, and it's just an effortless experience, and you get good flavor off of it, you enjoy it, and it just is one of those cigars that you just don't want to end because it's going so perfectly that the minute it ends, you just know it's going to be a while before you experience another cigar like this. And I found a Ferriotego Suma Torpedo that has been chilling in my humidor for God knows how many years. Probably only like 2, because I think it came out in 23. So realistically, it may have only been in there for like 2. But anyway, it was chilling there, and I smoked it, and my God, it smoked wonderfully. So my first one was the Ferriotego Suma Torpedo. The next one that I want to say I smoked was one that I got a sample of. There we go. I'm right on the edge. I'm going to have to give it some fire. I got a sample of it at PCA, and it was in that little styrofoam humidor that I talked about last episode. And I think the Cigar Authority actually included it in the show pack as well. And anyway, because I have 2, and I feel like they did, because I feel like they had this gentleman on their show. But I smoked the DBL Chango Ultra Premium Habano Toro. And I'll be damned, that thing smoked wonderfully. Again, construction was outrageous. The flavors were good. Smoke output was wonderful. I enjoyed the hell out of that. So the DBL Chango Habano Toro was my second one. And my third one that I want to give a little bit of love to was the McAuliffe Green. And I smoked the McAuliffe Green Toro the other night. And sorry, I'm keeping this fire going. I'm trying to get this thing really going again after hitting it with some extra fire. The McAuliffe Green Toro, I ordered 2 of them with the box of JFR Lunatic Hombre Libres that I ordered from 2 guys. And they came in, and I gave it a try because it was the new color. I got to try it. And I feel like it has like a Brazilian wrapper or something like that. I don't have the makeup in front of me, and that's on me. But anyway, I smoked it, and smoke output was good. It was a little chimney. Again, construction was good. Draw was good. Admittedly, flavor on that one, no criticism of it. I thought it was a good cigar, and it was obviously good enough to make my top 3 for the week of what I smoked that aren't like my. I mean, I could tell you JFR Lunatic. I mean, oh my God, they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, 5 in 5 days. I've smoked those, but so I have my go-tos, but then in terms of like my kind of extra, my special, different ones, the McAuliffe Green, it stood out, and not just because it was a new one, but anyway, I will admit I found the flavor on it to be pretty similar all the way through. It maybe got stronger as the cigar went along, but I wouldn't say that it necessarily was like, oh my gosh, it was noticeably different at the end than it was in the beginning. So if you like that flavor, if you fire one up and you enjoy that flavor, it's good the whole way through. But it was a good cigar, and I enjoyed it, and I would put it as, quite frankly, probably my second favorite of the colors behind the black. The black still rules the day and is the winner of the colors for me. So anyway, those are my three cigars I smoked and enjoyed this week. Now, before I get into the socials and kind of close this thing out, we need to talk about Battle of the Budgets. So that's coming up in the next handful of episodes. There's maybe going to be I guess I could look at the schedule and actually tell you when that's going to be coming up. So we're going to have the episode on Friday, October 3rd. And then if all goes well, then the Battle of the Budgets will either begin on Tuesday, October 7th or Friday, October 10th. Not entirely sure which. I'm going to play around. I'm going to see what's what. Depends on how this weekend goes. And so, anyway, so not this week, but next week, the Battle of the Budgets will begin. And I told you that I was going to give you the list of cigars in this episode so that you can go out and you can get them yourself and try them and smoke along with us so that, this can be done. Now, I want to explain to you, again, how we're going to do it, and I want to explain to you my rationale for how I've chosen the cigars that I've chosen. Because I did put a post up in the Parishioners group on Facebook requesting, some suggestions for cigars that you think should be included. And I want to thank everybody for chiming in on that and helping me out. Some of those suggestions were noted and very appreciated. Some of them for a variety of reasons that I'm going to get into now. I couldn't use. And it's because of my own self-imposed restrictions on this. In terms of how we're going to do it. So there's going to be 3 episodes. Battle of the Budgets is going to be over 3 episodes. So there's 8 cigars total. In the first episode, a non-involved party. So there's going to be 3 of us on the panel. A non-involved party. So none of us on the panel will be involved with this. They're going to take the bands off of the cigars. They're going to label the cigars in such a way that we know them as cigar A, B, C, D. And we're going to smoke 4 of them in the first episode, and we're going to smoke the other remaining 4 in the second episode. So we're going to have 2 episodes where each one of us are smoking 4 cigars essentially at the same time. We're going to start them, we're going to start one, smoke it for a little bit, start the second, smoke it for a little bit, start the third, smoke it for a little bit, start the fourth, smoke it for a little bit, and by the end of the episode, we're going to be going back and forth amongst all 4 cigars that are going to be lit and going at the same time so that you can kind of compare, contrast, and by the end of the first episode, if all goes well, and there's not just a metric shit ton of debate and no consensus, we will have 1 cigar that will move on to the championship, and that will happen again with the remaining 4 to where we have the second cigar that goes on to the championship. Then for the championship round, those 2 cigars will go head to head, and we will smoke them, side by side, and determine which one is the winner of the 2025 Battle of the Budgets. So that's how this is going to work. So in terms of the cigars, rationale is I wanted Toros or Robustos. Now, I will say they're going to all be Toros because at this point, 7 of the 8 are Toros. And so I don't want that remaining last 8th one to be a Robusto because it will be obvious which cigar that is. And so they're all going to end up being Toros. They're all MSRP on them is all $8 or under. Not $8.29, not $8.05, not $8.99. It's $8 or under. $8 is the cap. And this is where some of the suggestions that I was given in the parishioners group, and again, I greatly appreciate all the help. But some of you guys, you told me, hey, try this cigar, try this cigar, and they're right around $8. Or maybe you can get them on a certain website at a deal for a certain price that brings them under $8. But when you actually Google the cigar and you say, this cigar MSRP, the MSRP is not $8. It's higher than $8. And so, you gotta, that's a provision for me. Everything has to be under $8. And let me tell you guys, it's not easy finding good cigars for under $8. Or not even, I'm assuming all of them are going to be good to some degree. There's quite a few of them on my list that I have not smoked. There's some that I have, and I know they're good. But anyway, so that's kind of where we're at. Is they got to be under $8 MSRP, not a penny over. And because of the fact that I was able to find 7 of them that are Toros, they're all going to end up being Toros. So, guys, I'm giving you the most amount of cigar you can possibly get for your dollar with this. Sorry, I'm trying to get this thing relit. Anyway, so let me get into the list as it stands right now. This is an incomplete list, admittedly. I will have the final cigar for you in Friday's episode. But, and to be honest, I'll probably have it sooner on the social, sites. So if you follow us on the socials, you'll be able to see the full rundown prior to Friday if you want to try and score them. But I'm going to go ahead and announce right now that we are talking the Charter Oak Habano in the Toro. That's the first one. The United Natural in the Toro, because the United, both of those come in under $8. The Zeno by Davidoff, or Zeno Nicaragua by Davidoff, in the Toro. It's got the yellow band with the white Z on it. The next one, or actually I should say the next 4, I went to a cigar shop in my area. And this is also an interesting little twist. And this is something that I discovered at the time and ended up having to kind of rethink my strategy. And this is where the MSRP really comes into play. So I'm in the cigar shop and I'm looking around at their prices and I'm determining, okay, this cigar's under $8. This cigar's under $8. And I'm picking them up and I'm grabbing cigars. And then I come across, I'll just say it. I came across the Brick House, and price-wise, at this cigar shop, the Brick House met the criteria for the Battle of the Budgets. But I'd already looked up the Brick House because I had been thinking about this prior to going to the cigar shop, and I knew that the Brick House, the MSRP on the Brick House, was more than $8. And so at this point, I now start Googling all of the cigars in my basket to determine what the MSRP is on them. Not what the price in the shop was. What is the MSRP? And that's when I determined that this specific cigar shop was drastically underpriced on a lot of cigars, which, don't get me wrong, that's a nice little tidbit to learn. But on the flip side, it's like, what the hell? Like, this cigar shop, I don't know what they've done. Look, the bottom line is they've cut out a lot of their margin on these things. And so they're underselling. They're not making money on the cigars. The cigars are obviously the loss leader for the liquor that they sell in order for, you to come in, buy a few sticks, and then buy a bottle to go with them. So that's, I learned something today about that. But anyway, so I had to put a lot back. And that then made my shopping experience a longer, more drawn-out thing, because every single cigar I found that was under $8 that I was interested in, I had to then Google to determine what the actual MSRP is on it. And so I did, and I came out with other cigars. Now, again, we have the Charter Oak Habano. We have the United Natural Toro. We have the Zeno Nicaragua by Davidoff Toro. We also have the CAO FASA, F-A-S-A, Sol, S-O-L. I guess CAO FASA is a line of cigars that CAO puts out. And the FASA, based upon the three facings that were in the store, was the sun-grown one. And I kind of stuck with sun-grown or Habano kind of for the most part on this, just so that, it was kind of middle of the road. So we have the CAO FASA Sol. Next up, we have the La Aurora Connecticut Toro. Then from there, we have, and this is one, you guys might give me shit. But, I went ahead and did it. We have the Havana Q from J.C. Newman. And this is a variation on the Quorum. Now, going way, way back, we included the Quorum in the Battle of the Budgets. And despite how many Quorums my prior co-host went through, I am not a fan of the Quorum. I understand that it is a very inexpensive cigar, and it serves a need in the industry, and they sell a metric shit ton of the things. I am not a fan. I generally have not had... I think it's one of those things that I've compared it to higher... what's the word I'm looking for? More premium cigars than what the Quorum is designed to offer. And so perhaps I've judged it unfairly, but my whole thing is like, why am I spending this much when I could spend just a little bit more and get something infinite, so much better? And so I'm not a Quorum fan. However, I have smoked the Havana Q a couple of different times, and I have found it to smoke much better than the Quorum. And so I'm giving them a chance. I'm giving Quorum an opportunity to redeem itself from the previous Battle of the Budgets and to come in with the Havana Q. So we have the Havana Q Toro, and then we round it out with the Nica Rustica Adobe Toro. Now, that does leave one empty spot. So again, Charter Oak Habano, United Natural Toro, Zeno Nicaragua Toro, CAO FASA Sol Toro, La Aurora Connecticut, Havana Q, and the Nica Rustica Adobe. That does leave one spot left open. I will be announcing that, like I said, on Friday's show, but I will also be announcing it probably prior on the socials, so that everybody has an opportunity to go out and get these. The other thing I want to point out, and this is, I'm not complaining. I'm complaining, but I'm not complaining to any of you, because obviously this is something that I'm doing for both educational and entertainment purposes. Guys, I don't think you understand. This is not a cheap proposition, despite the fact that it is the battle of the budgets. I have essentially gone out and purchased. I had to buy 6 of each of these cigars. And the reason I had to buy 6 of all of them is because I don't know what cigars are going to make it out of the initial bracket round to the championship round. And I have to have cigars ready for the championship round for each one of them, because it could be any one of them. And so I had to buy 6, 1 for each of us in the initial round, 1 for each of us in the championship round. That's 48 cigars. And so I basically bought like 2 boxes of cigars doing this. Now, granted, I'm keeping them under $8, but my price tag just for, I have purchased 5 of the 8. I will be purchasing the remaining 3 this week, and I know where I can go and get them. And so, but my price tag right now, just on the 5, is right around $175, which, for what, 30 cigars maybe isn't that bad. The shop that I purchased them from, they do offer a deal that if you buy 15 cigars or more, they give you a 15% discount. So that also came into play. But the bottom line is, this is not a cheap proposition. So as much as I'm promoting this as the battle of the budgets, I think one of the big takeaways that I want all of you to kind of come to realize is the cigar industry has pushed prices to such a point that $8 is a hard price point to find a good cigar at. It's not impossible, but it is a hard price point to find a good cigar at. And I think it's only going to get harder. So, hey, manufacturers, consider that. We don't want chop. We don't want short filler chop tobacco. We don't want garbage. If you could just find a way to give us a good cigar that's under $8, I think you would do well. Now, McAuliffe, the MSRP on the Color Series for the Robustos is $8. I would 100% stack the McAuliffe Black against every single one of those cigars and do that tomorrow. The only reason it's not going to take that final spot is strictly because I was able to find Toros in all of the rest of these for $8 or under. And because the Robusto is $8 and the Toro is more, I don't want to stack one Robusto against 7 Toros, because we will immediately know what cigar the one Robusto in the group is. And then it skews all of the data. So, unfortunately, because I was able to find Toros, it does mean that I have to find another Toro, which does put McAuliffe out of the running for being involved in this. Perhaps if I were able to expand the field to 16 cigars, like I did way back when we did the first battle of the budgets, we had a variety of different sizes going on in that, and it worked because you didn't know what was what. This time, because it's only 8 and because I was able to find Toros in all of them, it's just not feasible to include the Robusto. But anyway, I just wanted to give you guys an update on the Battle of the Budgets so that you knew kind of what was going on, how it was coming together, and you could start preparing. So for those of you who want to go out shopping throughout this week, in anticipation of me announcing the last one, if you want to get your remaining, the other 7 during this week, and then you can go out and get that last one. I'm looking at the Chartero Cabano, the United Natural Toro, the Zeno Nicaragua by Davidoff, the CAO Fasa Sol, the La Aurora Connecticut, the Havana Q, and the Nika Rustica Adobe. So hopefully you guys will be able to find those, order them, whatever you want to do if you want to smoke along with us. Otherwise, guys, we'll talk socials. I am available on Instagram at The Cigar Pulpit. I'm available on Facebook, where we have the Pulpit Parishioners group. You can get in on the fun there. And that's also one of the places I will be announcing that last cigar once I get that figured out. Then I'm on Twitter/X. If you want to watch this, I'm on YouTube and Rumble. I'm also on Spotify video. So if you use Spotify to listen to the show, you can also just watch the show on Spotify. And also, I'm going to need your calls for Ask the Pulpit. You can give the hotline a call at area code 863-874-0000. That's area code 863-874-0000. Call in with your comments, questions, suggestions, whatever you've got. Maybe don't call in with suggestions for for Battle of the Budget cigars, because I'm probably unlikely to do another Ask the Pulpit show before I do those. So, I will have already done those by the time I use those calls. So anyway, just something to consider. But I appreciate those calls, because like I said before, it gives me an opportunity to have somebody to talk to when I don't have somebody to talk to, like tonight. Otherwise, guys, I appreciate you taking time out to listen to me tonight. I am about, I'd say, so halfway, maybe-ish, on my night and day. It has gone out, and at this point, I'm going to wait to fire it back up and enjoy the rest of it after I'm turn off all the equipment here. But, it's been good. Like I said, admittedly, for me, it's been a cigar. It's been a good cigar. It has not been offensive in any way, shape, or form. It's fairly mild, easy smoke. Construction on it's been good. Smoke production, draw, it's a good cigar. And I'll tell you, for the price point, we're talking Battle of the Budgets. Guys, if you buy this by the box, you get 20 cigars for $110 if you buy one box. If you buy 2 boxes at once, you get 40 cigars for $200. Let me tell you, I've done the looking. I have gone around my area. I have gone online. I have looked for budget cigars that are good for the price point. And let me tell you, the night and day at $5.50 a piece if you buy one box, or $5 a piece if you buy 2 boxes, I don't know if you can beat that deal these days. Realistically, I don't know if you can find a cigar that smokes like this one for that price point these days anymore. And it's a 6x54 Toro that smokes way above its price point. Like I said, maybe it's not the most intricate in flavor, but in terms of a well-constructed, good smoke at a really good price point, truthfully, I don't know if you can beat this right now. So if you're looking for something to pack the humidor and you're wanting to very quickly put 40 cigars into your humidor for rotation, for the car, for whatever you want to use it for, I wholeheartedly endorse the night and day for that. For the price point, it's great. It's absolutely wonderful. So I give it the seal of approval. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for taking time out. I'm Nick. This has been another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. Everybody, stay safe, stay smoky. Trying to get it going again. Anyway, take care, guys.